because I think this thing is really blowing up for you, and I'm really proud of you, brother. But first and foremost, I'm probably I'm from the '70s, so I came out of Dunbar in '78. Okay, had many scholarships to go to different schools. I chose the University of Pittsburgh, and I chose that because it reminded me of Lafayette Projects. I'm surrounded by that. That was one of my choices why I wanted to go there, and plus, they felt I was one. That was cool. I felt like they really wanted me to be there. But I do want to set the record straight though, because see, I didn't play in the Big East.
Okay.
Right?
It was the six.
I played from '78 to '82. I played this. It was called the Eastern 8, which is called now the Atlantic 10.
Woo.
Right? And so Pitt joined the Big East in 1983, the year after I left.
Okay.
And so how they got there is that we won the Eastern 8 championship back to back in '81 and '82. So we beat West Virginia in the championship game, and I think we beat Duquesne in the championship game. Duquesne was our arch rival because they were like 5 or 10 minutes in the Pittsburgh area. But we played some top schools. We played North Carolina in the NCAA. We played Pepperdine. We played Oregon when Oregon was #1, and I think '79. We also played Duke.
Okay.
In 1979, we beat Duke.
Okay.
That's when they had James Mike Dominski and all them guys. So, but Baltimore tradition is really, really, really high. I mean, the thing is that if you went to Dunbar, I didn't care if you was the 12th man, you got a scholarship. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Taz, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, because my camera went off because I'm driving, but I can hear everything y'all saying. Y'all just can't see me driving.
Okay, no problem.
Now, when they talk about different eras, right? I mean, I always pay homage to the people before me. Like the Skip Rises, like my brother, the Donnie Joys and things of that nature. And other guys such as Pop Wright, Arnold Gaines, who went to Lake Clifton, and a big shout out to Big Kevin Graham, who passed away last week. He was a beast. You know what I'm saying? To watch those guys play and to really see how they play. And like I said, every era is different. I mean, of course, I'm going to say that my era was the best era because of when I played. Right? You got the '80s. You got the '90s. You got the 2000s. You know what I'm saying? And you go so forth and so on. And so, but the thing I love about Baltimore players is that we all play hard.
Right.
We all have a purpose to try to be successful, and so when I see a young man or young kid from Baltimore, they playing in college now, that's definitely great for the city of Baltimore.
Thanks.
Especially what's going on now in terms of the crime rate, so, but yeah, I mean, even at 62, I still think I can play, but I know my knees are bad.
Let me ask you this. Wayne. When you hear comments where they say the players back then wasn't athletic, they couldn't shoot. What can you talk to the because they make it seem like y'all just dribble like this and y'all just shoot with 2 hands and all that. Can you tell the people that it went down? Can you just explain to the people that y'all was some real ball players, man?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you look back at it, like I said, it has a rich history of ball players. And the thing is that I always say this, and no knock on anybody in the other era, is that we thought the game. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't probably as athletic as the kids they are now. Maybe not strong where the kids are now, but every game we played was a battle. Every school we played was a battle. Everybody had at least 2 or 3 people on that team that could play. You know what I'm saying? But it just couldn't beat us. I mean, the thing is that going to Dunbar, you have the bullseye.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to beat you. You know what I'm saying? Now, from my understanding, now they're getting their butt whipped now, but hopefully they'll get back to form. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why kids don't want to go to Dunbar anymore. I have no understanding of that. But I think that it's well diverse now, and you have other schools, and Tree is doing an amazing job at Lake Clifton.
Yes, indeed.
Although he's a Dunbar guy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he gets the players, and so I mean, the East and West, anybody comes out of Baltimore, whether you're from the East or West, South, or whatever, that I'm happy for because they represent Baltimore.
That's how I feel. I'm not saying that's how I feel. I feel the same way.
Right. And so, a lot of the kids that play ball today, I kind of really don't know. But me being a high school coach anyway, I try to get to know them because the thing that, like I said, when they go away to college, they need to understand a couple of things, and I think that's what we need to do as former ball players is get a hold of these young men and teach them that when you go to college, it's a different atmosphere.
Say that again. Say that one more time. Because after you say this, I'm a transition to Mike King, right? The reason why I'm gonna say this because we had the conversation about we had the dialogue just yesterday. Mike a coach, right? And it was I heard some things about Mike, right? So I had to come to Mike like, Mike, is this true about his team, about his 17 under 10? So he explained to me what was going on, and he explained to me how he's trying to get them to like, this is what y'all gonna do on the next level. However, by him pushing them, which I agree with anyway, which I agree with everything he's doing. He getting pushed back, saying like it's too hard, or the kids don't understand it. And I'm like, and we talking about a defense. We ain't talking about offense. Now, offense, it could be a little tricky sometimes. All right, took me every year. It took me some time to get a new offense. However, but defense, ain't but so many defenses, so many concepts. And you know what I'm saying? It's about talking and listening. So, but go in, you continue, Wayne, and then we're gonna transition to Mike because it sounds simple, people, and I'm not knocking the kids today. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not trying to be that guy. But I still feel like we shouldn't dumb our kids down. We should give them everything that we got. We put back into those kids. So, and that's on the court and off the court. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the kids today, to me, I think that they're being more babyfied. Now when they get to college, yes, when the scout is recruiting you, yeah, he's gonna say all the right things.
Facts.
Because he wants you to come to this university or whatever college you decide to go to. But once you step foot on the campus and you sign that letter, you belong to him. Facts. And so it's no calling mom or dad and saying, hey, this is too hard. I mean, life is hard. I always say this, enjoy it while you can, because once it's over, it's over. You know what I'm saying?
And it's like this.
And so when you look back, yeah, it's over, and 4 years come real quick. 10 years come real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then that's when reality comes in. I gotta get a job, support my family, or whatever the case may be. And I think a lot of kids, yeah, it's always great to chase your dream. You want every young man to chase their dream. You know what I'm saying? But how far can it go? That depends on you. Now, having said that, right, the kids today have more opportunities in terms of more opportunities than what we had back in the 70s, right? Kids can go overseas. Kids can play, in these different leagues, professional leagues, things of that nature. We only had one. It was a CBA or overseas. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't make it in the NBA, you had the CBA or you had overseas. CBA is called the Continental Basketball Association.
See?
Right? You had that. So the kids today have more opportunities, and so there are more doors open today than there was when we were coming up.
Facts.
I'm talking about people from the 70s. Now, just imagine, but guys from the 60s and the 50s. They didn't have those opportunities. you know, summer league, we had BNBL and Project Survival, right? Now I think they had the Craig Cromwell, and I don't think that's in existence anymore. So
And honestly, my father cut you off. I feel though that right there, that BNBL, because at one point in time, the BNBL games was being documented in the paper. The points was being documented in the paper, and the coaches was scouting from the BNBL. I say,
absolutely.
And then when people talk
Absolutely.
about these crowds, I say, man, it was crowds at these BNBL games. I said, even when I played Project Survival and things of that nature, they always had you come in and you looking at your team. Everybody did that. Who we play, we just that and this. And you had a neighborhood cut. You had whatever neighborhood that was coming, they was coming to watch their team play. It was more,
But and I always say this, right? Is that because I played for Madison 2 years, 3 years, 15 under, we won the championships. And I played for Madison 18 under. Okay. We won championships. And we had to go through Lafayette to play that. And now Lafayette had, Calvin Maddox, Kosher, Duke, Barry Scott, the late Barry Scott, but we had a pretty good team too. So we had a mixture of Dunbar and Lake Clifton and City, and we had a pretty good team. So but to come down to the Dome now and see basketball being played, there's no crowds. When I played, it was jam packed. They were packed inside, they were packed outside, especially when we played Lafayette. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And people will come all over, east, west, whatever. They will come to the games just to watch a good game, right. But it's not that no more.
Who was coaching Lafayette? Was Mr. Howard coaching Lafayette?
Yeah, Mr. Howard was coaching Lafayette.
Okay.
God rest his soul. Mm-hmm. Right. And I hear people, and the thing about it was basically, East Baltimore against East Baltimore. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And but I can say that I never lost to Lafayette. But it was some epic battles though. I can say that. It was some epic battles, and both teams were hungry. And I think that's what's missing now. The kids today are not hungry enough to go to the next level. You may have one or two or three that's hungry that wants to go to the next level. But just imagine if you have every kid hungry that wants to go to the next level. You know what I'm saying? But when I say next level, I mean that you have to work on your craft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even when you're not playing, you got to work on it.
So who was your coach at Madison?
Pardon me?
Who was your coach at Madison?
Oh, no other than the Wayne Wells.
Okay.
Yeah, Coach Wells. He was my coach. Yeah. And and the thing about it that he's one of the last few remaining icons coaches in Baltimore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't say that, but because you still got Coach B, you still got Coach Sarge, and you got Wells.
Yeah, well, I didn't play.
You said 3 names, though. You said 3 names, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, yeah. I do know Coach B. I do know Coach Sarge, but I played mainly for Wells.
Right.
So, but I do know them. Yes, they were a part of the Madison Buccaneers, but and they were assistant coaches. And I do apologize for not putting them in the mix because they helped me along the way as well.
No, so I'm only mentioning that because like we talking different eras right now. So that was your era with Wells. So Wells was running the rack doing like my era, and then the Sam Cassell era, he was running the rack. So you had Coach B, and then you had Coach Sarge.
Okay.
Sarge is still coaching. Sarge still coaching them.
Yes. I mean, and and the thing about Sarge is that he pushes you. He don't give you no breaks. He don't care how good you are, how bad you are. He still pushes you to be great.
Absolutely.
Now I'm sure he did that with you too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about
he still do it now. Like Sarge still coaching.
Talk to us, Hank. Talk to us. Go ahead. You got the floor.
I mean, I'm letting the guy, the good brother speak.
Yeah, I'm letting you know. Look, like I said, I talk too much, so I'm not trying to cut y'all off or nothing like that. So yeah.
I'm getting some gems right now, so I'm good.
All right.
So who is this talking?
Hank. This Hank.
Hank Giles?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm hot dog.
Okay.
Yeah. Two ports on here.
Yeah,
Now, Mike, is you still there?
You close to like two of my uncle's age, especially if you saying you from Lafayette. You got Frank Giles and Kevin Giles.
Wait a minute, hold up. I played against. He was doing JV. Was that your uncle?
Which one?
I don't know if it was Kevin Giles. He came
Kevin
out like
Giles. Yeah, that's my youngest. Troy, my youngest, but Kevin over Troy. Yeah, so you played against Kevin. Frank
right. No.
and Charlie and father, they older than you.
Right,
yeah.
right. Well, I think it was Kevin who played JV
Kevin.
at Dunbar, and I played
It was
varsity.
Kevin. Yeah, it was Kevin.
Yeah. Because he was a beast in 13 under when I was playing 15.
I was going to say because Kevin had the BNBL record till little kid Fat TJ from my era scored 93. He scored 93 in the BNBL game.
What?
Okay. I haven't seen.
Yeah, like TJ just got killed like early part of the year. But
Oh man, sorry about that.
Yes.
Yeah, he scored 93 in the game.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember your Uncle Kevin. Yeah, he was definitely a beast. You know, in fact, couldn't nobody touch him. He was strong.
Yeah, I only hear stories about Kevin, but they say Kevin was a tough cat.
Man. Look. Hey, Mike King. Mike probably doing, so I don't know what Mike doing. But yeah.
No, I'm here. What's up, dog?
Yeah,
Hey, what's up, Mike?
What's going on?
Slow motion, man. What's going on? Long time no see.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You been following the conversation?
You said what?
I said, have you been following the conversation?
Yeah, I was following it. I heard what you said. I heard what you said about the kids, what we talked about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just tough, man. When as a player coming through Baltimore, we was getting that teaching for the next level. And we wanted, like the coaches was giving us this, telling us, look, you got to be ready for the next level because the coach is going to look at you and they're going to decide right when you come into practice, the first couple practice, if you're going to be a part of the program, being a part of what he's trying to do that year, or you're going to be something in the rear view.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of us wanted, coming through Baltimore, I think we had like a pride thing that when we came out of Baltimore going to school, we like, man, we're going to be a part of whatever college we go to, and we're going to be a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that when I used to look at all the older players
right
that came before me, and I was just like, I like I told you, Taz, we used to sit in the cafeteria and watch the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, damn, just yesterday, we just seen Turk yesterday.
Right.
Just the other day, we see Dante, but we watching them on TV. And I swear to goodness, deep down in the soul, you like, yo, they gonna watch me next year. Or they gonna watch me when it's my time. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that was more so a push to a lot of kids that when we went to school, everybody wanted to be hungry and trying to be the best player we can be. Plus, we had that Baltimore pride. So now, when you go to school now, kids just go to school I don't know what the mindset is. But I don't think the mindset is, and I can't speak for every program,
right.
but I don't think, I always tell people 90% of Baltimore City is under recruited.
Mm-hmm. Why
I say it like that because we always go. You say what?
I'm gonna say I know, but why would they say that? I mean, why is that the case? I'm actually
no. I say that because even in the 90s, right? we had kids that was damn good, but we wasn't getting it just due like other cities. You get what I'm saying? But when we got the chance, like a lot of guys were going JUCO, prep school, and stuff like that. But we wasn't getting the big time schools like other other cities.
Right.
And I know one time I was looking at I don't like pointing out names, right? But New York, right? They used to get some of the kids wasn't even as good, but they got all the schools. You get what I'm saying? So when we look at
not
that
to cut
thing,
you off,
and
not to cut you off, Mike, ain't that about resources though? A lot of times, that's about resources.
Yeah, and they though, man. Because sometimes with those I'm gonna say connections. You absolutely
exactly.
right.
That's
The
resources.
resources and connections.
That's resources, right?
The resources and connections.
And exposure.
They used to have certain guys right in their backyard that gave them that push. You get what I'm saying? So with us, we didn't have those people that was pushing kids. We had to go through a New York guy we know Sonny Vaccaro and all them guys. They were mostly New York and Philly people. So when they seen them kids up in that era, they were kind of pushing them more than we would get that push. We had our guys. So when we look at Baltimore basketball, like you'll get maybe 1, 2, 3 in one year, and then the next year you may have another 3, right? But then at one point, I want to say that 90s era, you was having kids, like we had so many really good basketball players. You get what I'm saying? Right. And they were coming out, guys was coming out like tenfold. It was coming. So now I was an under-recruited kid, and I tell people that all the time. I say, yo, I was under-recruited. Warren was under-recruited. KB was under-recruited. But the way we got to the level of people wanting us, it was the fact that we went out every tournament. Our mindset was, let's win this tournament. We didn't win every tournament, right? But it was about placing every tournament.
Hey, can I ask you a question, Mike? Can I ask you a question? When you use the term under-recruited, like define under-recruited. Because at the end of the day, like I just feel like a lot of times it's about expectations. And a lot of people have higher expectations. Not saying that group you named had higher expectations, but it's just a lot of kids have higher expectations than where they are in the game.
Facts.
So Facts. I wouldn't call it being under-recruited. Like, it's just the higher expectations. Like, everybody can't go to North Carolina. Everybody can't go to Duke. Everybody can't go to a high major Division I program. But the kids got it in their head that that's where they belong. And like they don't get that reality check.
All right. So when I say under-recruited, I'm talking about when I was playing.
Well,
I was looking at it as
we ain't that far behind, but go ahead.
So when I talk about that being under-recruited thing, it was more so the mindset of there was no school. Somebody was saying, yo, Warren Dixon is the shit. You see what I'm saying? Like they wasn't saying that. They wasn't saying, yo, they wasn't yelling my name. They wasn't yelling Kevin Braswell's name.
No, I get what you're saying. But what I'm saying to you is that, like, was it a Vermont? Was it a Manhattan? Was it a VCU? Was it like because it wasn't a Maryland or Duke or Virginia? It wasn't none of that.
It was none of.
So, but again, this is what I'm gonna say to you. That's why I say it's about resources.
But the one thing it was, and this is what Squirrel used to tell us when we were coming up, guys. If you got to remember, you're not on anybody's board,
right?
So to become on somebody's board, you got to win.
Yeah, bust ass.
You got to win. And we know that coming through our era though, Hank, because of the fact that if you wasn't winning, you can't make a coach turn around and look at you.
Right.
You ain't on nobody's board. See, the
So
idea now.
Crazy thing about that is the crazy thing about y'all situation, and it was like, even though we ain't that too far, what you was, what class you was, 90 what?
97.
97. So you was like the freshman when I was a senior, right?
Right.
So like that's what like I was explaining to Taz the other day. It's like on our team, it was 15 people on our team. 11 went D1. On my senior year team, 11 went D1. But we piggyback off of the fact that, like I told Taz, we should have had 3 national championships in 4 years.
Mm-hmm. So
we piggybacked off of Scoot and them finishing number 2, then Mike and them coming behind them being number 1 in the country, and then us finishing 2 years straight at like 4 and then number 7 in the country. So our senior year, like we just piggybacked off of those guys. So that's when I was saying to Taz, like I didn't even finish the season my last year, but I got a D1 scholarship.
Right.
So let me ask you brothers this. So during your time, how many games were you allowed to play?
So ours got cut. Not to cut you off, Mike. Ours got cut. So before it was unlimited. But my senior year, that's when they put us in the States. My senior year, they put us in the States. So they cut us short. Like we couldn't even travel. We had a 600 round trip. We only could go 600 miles round trip.
Right.
My senior year.
So during my time back in the 70s, we were only allowed to play 18 games, right?
Yeah, so like Mike and them went 29-0. Yeah, Mike and them went 29-0.
So we played 18 games, and it was the MSA. So it wasn't no states or nothing like that. Once you go to Morgan, you win that, you're done. Right.
So I played 3 years MSA, and then Taz, that's what I was telling you when we played Wojo and them, Gibbons and all of them. Yeah. That was the MSA. So they changed that our senior year. We was not in the MSA no more. We was in the States.
That's why y'all ain't play something.
Right.
Okay.
What you say, Taz?
I said that's why y'all ain't play something. Like
that's why we what?
I'm asking you, is that why y'all ain't play something? I know it's
that's why we never played. Like they keep on saying we never played Southern. We lost to Southern. Like I don't know where that's coming from. We lost to Southern. Like on the buzzer beater. We played Southern.
No, so I'm getting this because
we lost 3 games on the buzzer. We lost 3 games on the buzzer beater. We lost 3 games on the buzzer beater. Simon Gratz, Rice with Felipe Lopez, and then Southern.
I don't know what Kev. Let's leave it here with that. Continue the regular conversation. I don't want to go to that. Go ahead.
Hey, Hank, your last year was with Norman, right? Norman was in it.
Norman, yeah. Me, Norman, Noodles, Boosie, all that. That's what
Boosie,
Paul Smith.
Yeah, I remember
Paul Smith was our coach, yeah.
Now let me ask y'all this though, people.
But that's what.
No, let me ask you this. All right, I hear what you're saying, Mike. I hear what you're saying. Wayne, I hear what you're saying. As far as like even with the kids. Now, so I'm gonna say this. Just like you said, they have more resources and everything right now. But we get a lot of kids. We had some when and this is in our generations, went to a school and he wasn't good enough for the school and he had to transfer somewhere else. Now, we all know people that some of them went to different schools, some of them just said forget basketball altogether. Right now, I feel as though we're seeing a flux of kids that's going to these schools and it's not panning out, and they just staying home. They coming home. So, what do y'all think about that? How y'all feel about that?
Well, I don't know if it was Hank or Mike saying that the expectations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of kids, see that, okay, I want to be on TV, I want to do this, I want to do that, right? But the reality is that, you have to have a gut check, so to speak. Can I really play D1 ball? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get on that level, you know, I mean, it's a totally different level.
Yeah.
I mean, for lack of words,
Mhm.
you know, like I was explaining to my nephew today, right? I said, you know, a couple of things you need to understand. You got D1, D2, D3, NAIA, CIAA. You know, any school you go to, you're there for two reasons. Number one is get that degree.
Mhm.
Number two is to play the sport that you love.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? If it's free, take advantage of it,
Right.
right? Because you only go once in a lifetime. You know what I
Right.
mean? And a
That's
lot
right.
of kids, want to go D1 because they want to be on TV. I get that, but you can go to a D1 school and sit for 4 years. You know, that's not good. I had a friend of mine who passed away some years ago that who pushed me the whole time we came in as freshmen.
Mhm.
He never played. He didn't play until his senior year,
Wow.
right? I couldn't have done that.
No.
I couldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying? It's either all or nothing. And that's why we talk about being hungry, being motivated, you know, being wanting to be successful. And the kids got to have all those things in their repertoire in order to do that. And you got to be fundamentally sound because a lot of times kids go to school, right?
Mhm.
And they don't have those fundamentals that the coach want.
Right.
They look at talent and say, okay, we can mold this kid into what we need to be, but the kid got to be receptive of what the coaches want.
Right.
But,
Right.
but you know what? You know what? Also, you know, and I'm just speaking on our town because I'm a prideful Baltimore guy, and I tell people that all the time. When I look at our town, we had a lot of D1 guys. When you're talking about leaving our town and then going into college to play against other D1 guys, I think we kind of felt like it can't be no harder than coming out of Baltimore and playing the guys that we play. You
Absolutely.
get what I'm saying? That mindset. Because those guys were very talented, had that heart. That's why a lot of college coaches really came to Baltimore and recruited because they always said Baltimore kids got heart.
Yep.
Mhm.
Might be small, might be this, might be a little rough around the edges. They're gonna give you a dog fight in every game.
That's why it's important. That's why it's important. When you play against a guy from DC, you want to bust his ass. You play against a guy from New York, you want to bust their ass because you really look at it like this. And we talk about exposure, right? You know,
Right.
we sit in between of DC and New York, right? But I
Mhm.
always tell
Right.
people this, that there's probably more talent in Baltimore there than there is in DC or New York, but they get the exposure, they get the hype,
Mhm.
you
Right.
know? And
I
and
just
and I mean, I played against some really good guys that from DC and from New York, such as Albert King and all them guys, right?
Mhm.
And every chance we got, we try to bust their butt. You know what I mean? And so I mean, that's why, you know, the scouts are slacking coming here now. Why? I have no idea. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of talent here.
absolutely. It's a lot of talent here, man. I mean, I think that a lot of the kids that's coming out of Baltimore right now are very talented.
Mhm.
I feel like the locking. I think the mental locking in part is lost. Not that they're not talented.
Mhm.
I just think that locking in to what the major goal is, it be lost sometimes. It's kind of like they have it, and the next thing you know, they don't have no more. Trying to figure out like, yo, what happened?
But
You see what I'm saying?
hey,
So
Mike, it's not a not, but that's why like you need guys that came from a duty, that came from a Sarge, that came from a Bucky, that came from a Coach B that's coaching.
Mhm.
Like, and I say that's because like the mental toughness was there when you had them coaches. You got the mental toughness.
you had to be mentally tough because they was going to challenge you.
No,
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
absolutely.
No, that's basically what I'm saying is that so many of these coaches now are pacifying the kids. Like prime example, Bucky killed flat because Bucky was raw, uncut, raw. Like you playing like shit. He telling you playing like shit. He
Yep.
ain't pacifying. Like even to the point right now. I'll give y'all this prime example. I look at NBA guys right now, right?
Mhm.
Finishing layups. Braun, D-Wade, all of them. Left side, left hand. Right side, right hand. That's Bucky Preach. But
Right.
the nigga on the left side, they finish with the right hand. Bucky ain't give a shit. He telling you, wrong hand, man.
Absolutely.
It's the little things, though, that they not getting the little things. They not getting the little things.
See, and
Like
it's
you
funny,
said,
right?
like you said, the kids are being babyfied because you can't yell at them, you can't cuss, you can't do this, you can't do that, right? But they can cuss. I mean, they outside the basketball court, they cussing up a storm.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
But that's the parents. That's
Now,
the
that's
parents.
the whole number. Yeah, go ahead. Keep talking. Yeah.
But you know what?
Go
You know what's
on.
funny though? Hank, you saying it, man. You like Bucky was like that, right? And a lot of coaches taught the basic learning how to play the game.
Right.
That translated from little league to high school, from high school to college. You get what I'm saying? You
Right.
learn how to run a fast break. You learn how to, as a point guard, I know a lot of coaches taught. Here's the rebound from the big point guard, get foul line extended back to the sideline so he can have he could be able to see the court in front of him.
Exactly.
Ball goes out to the wing. You get your butt to the middle of the court and run a fast break.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So
the figure eight taught you that, though. The figure eight drill taught you that.
Hey,
Yeah,
fellas,
so-
listen to this. Listen to now. I've been coaching for, I guess, about 20 years high school ball right here, and I had every year. Of course, I had a team that they had great kids, right? They had the 4.0 or better. They all went to college, but not on the basketball scholarship, right? But I had to take a team, build a team, and try to mold a team. These kids couldn't even run a figure eight, you know. And I understand that. I understand why they couldn't run a figure eight because at their home school they would have never made their team. You know what I'm saying? You were taught figure eight when you first started playing basketball. At least you're supposed to, because that's a very simple drill.
We were taught that. We were taught that in our environment.
Right. But once again, I'm old school, so I try to do the basic fundamentals so they can get it. You know what I'm saying?
I think the training wheels got, like with us, the training wheels were off early.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was either you had it or you didn't.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't, that's not saying that you couldn't develop later.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point in time, it was like, I remember coming in 9, 10 years and not really playing a lot. And that didn't make me want to quit and go to another team. That made me say, yo, you know what? Next year I'm playing here. I'm going to play next year. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I got to work hard.
That's the mindset you guys had. The kids, they don't have that mindset.
So, Mike, I got a question for you. Since you're like, I don't know the older gentleman. Sorry, I don't know your name, but I don't know like where you are as far as basketball and coaching right now. But Mike, since you're more so on the scene right now and involved with coaching the kids right now, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name a kid like before you know that? Like, all right, we're gonna use Nut for example.
Right.
We already knew 9 out of 10 guards couldn't put the ball on the floor when Nut defending. Can you name a kid right now that want to play defense?
No, not like that.
I'm just saying, period, that want to play it.
Not, yeah, and we go back. No, I don't. I can't really name a kid that really wants to strap up and like lock a person.
That's the conversation that I had with Taz, right? Because like, you know, when you get on these blogs and everything like that, everybody, they got so many buckets or they was like that, right? So what I said to Taz is I took pride on defending because I know if I could get a steal, I could get a layup.
Right.
So I don't need the ball to score. If I can get a steal, I got a layup.
Right. And I think that I'm not going to just give kudos to this one guy, but I think a lot of the older players, they had that defensive mindset, but that Muggsy guy I think he set the tone for a lot of guys that came after him, guards, about playing defense. You see what I'm saying? So,
hey, Mike, can I say this, Taz?
Go ahead. Talk your talk.
See, what folks don't understand is that Kosher was a hell of a defensive player too.
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
He was
you didn't have to have the ball to score. If you was a defender, you can take the ball from somebody and get a layup.
Right. But see, here's the thing. The thing that the era today is that the kids want to shoot the three. You know what I mean? They don't want, they worried about offense, how many points they score. But
trade the buckets.
Right. I mean, but the thing is, right, is that back in my era, everybody had a role to play, and that's the role we played. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If it was defense, you played defense. If it was scoring, you scored. If it was blocking shots, you block shots.
Taz, that's what I told you the other night. That's what I told you the other night, Taz.
Yeah.
Hey, Taz, I'm gonna give you some homework, right? Check this out. Think about all the Baltimore guys that came out, right? I mean, I'm gonna speak I'm gonna speak the 90s, right? And guys that stayed in school more than like 4 years, 3-4 years. If you go back and you look at what school they went at, don't you know that a lot of them are on top of their colleges right now in steals? You know that, yo, bro. I used to sit back and I used to be wondering.
I know KB is.
KB, me and Nut, Stink. I think Mo Hatton.
Yeah.
But
like
I'm
sitting up there.
I'm gonna have to cut you off, Mike. I'm gonna have to cut you off. The wreck that y'all came from pride itself on defense.
True.
Absolutely.
True.
So I mean, like y'all had, not saying an advantage because it's still a mentality you gotta have, but that wreck pride itself on defense. So that was like embedded in you guys.
Facts.
And go back to the old saying.
You couldn't even be on the floor.
Defense win games. Defense win games.
Oh, absolutely.
On the floor, you couldn't even be on the floor playing down there if you ain't play defense. So all that relaxing, being cool, and like jogging around, you couldn't even be on the floor because it always they always looked at it.
Who fault is that though? Who fault is that? Yeah, I mean, is it the coach's fault? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know a lot of times, well, what I see that the kids get babyfied so they won't go to another program. If it's not working over here, they're not doing what they. If they not let them shoot, or they not. If the parent get mad, they gonna go.
That's a weak coach. That's a weak coach. That's a weak coach.
Okay, that's all.
And I say that, but no, I say that because the simple fact is like the dude. We gonna go back to the old guys again. The Duties of the world, the Saws, the Buckies of the world, whatever like that. They didn't give a fuck about winning the game. If you wasn't doing the basic, the fundamentals, the things they wanted you to do, sliding your feet, stepping out of bounds on the sideline, like all of that. If you weren't doing that, they didn't care about winning. They cared more about teaching the game the right way.
You know, the funny thing was they was gonna win the game, but you weren't gonna be in there to be a part of it. If you ain't doing the right thing.
Exactly, absolutely. But they gonna let you know.
They'll tell you straight up. I'll win and lose this motherfucker without you.
Exactly, absolutely.
Yeah, I've definitely heard Sarge say that.
So the mindset, I just think that when it comes down to it, you know, as far as kids in this era, they, like I say again, they are talented. But as far as understanding the whole aspect of the game, because there is offense, but they also is defense.
Right.
So kids think it's a trading buckets thing, but I also think that come from watching too much. Like most kids don't even watch NCAA basketball.
And that's crazy. That's crazy.
You ask a kid now, watch the college basketball. Do they watch college basketball like that? They really don't watch it like that.
Hey, Mike,
They
they'll
may
say,
check
yeah, I
up
watch
on a
it. I
guy
watch
that's
it
from
on
Baltimore.
PlayStation.
Yeah,
So check this out. They may pick
Yeah.
up the remote and say, yo, Justin Lewis is playing, so I'm gonna go watch him. But they don't watch college basketball. You know what I'm saying? But if you did, and kids really realize, if you look around the country, a lot of those coaches, man, they like guys that are coming in the game and they strap up. You may not be a starter, but you'll come off the bench and play starter minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But now kids say, if I'm not a starter, then it's a good fit for me. But when you go to college, what are you going to do?
So I got a
question. You may not be a starter.
Not trying to cut you off, Mike, but I got a question for you and Hank, right?
Uh-huh.
So you guys play ball, right?
Mm.
At the highest level. My question to you two is that how come you guys are like coaching high school or are you guys doing any coaching?
Mike's coaching. I coached elementary school for like 4 straight years, but I'm not coaching. But
Because the reason why I say that, Taz, the reason why I say that is because I think that, you know, we former ball players, we have a gift, and we need to give that back to the kids, that today's kids, because they don't understand the game like we do, for lack of a better word.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And so
go ahead.
And I'm saying because the reason why I got into coaching, and I got into coaching for one reason, because when I used to come down to the Dome years ago, and I saw how the kids didn't have no fundamentals, I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get into coaching and see how can I impact some kids' lives in terms of getting to where, they may not can't get to a D1 where I went at, but certainly can go to a school where they can play ball, have a successful 4 years, both academically and athletically. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, we haven't won many games. I can tell you that. But the kids understood after their 4 years with me, they understood the game. You know what I mean?
That's what it's about.
Yeah. And so I just think that collectively, we ball players, or former ball players, we need, just give back. I'm not saying you guys not giving back, because what you're doing now, I think you're giving back.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that what's missing is that you have a lot of the guys who are coaching in high school now never played no damn ball.
Say it again.
Right?
Say it again.
You got a lot of guys who's coaching now in high school never played basketball. Okay. Right? They have people underneath of them who played basketball, or maybe read a book or something like that. But we know the games. We know how to do the fundamentals. We know how to get them in shape. We know how to do this. We know how to do that. You know what I mean? But more importantly, we know how to teach them about life. Because if it wasn't for basketball, coming from East Baltimore, I don't know where I would have been.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of us. That's not just you. That's a lot of. I told that to Taz the other day when I told him, I was like, a lot of guys on my time, a lot of guys from East Baltimore, they gotta give. I mean, even though we had the Sarge and B's and all of that, like I shout out Mr. Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Because that kept us off the streets.
Absolutely.
And but the kids are not, I don't know what it is. Kids are just not motivated to play sports anymore. And like Mike said, there's a lot of talent here.
It's not they not motivated. They want to give it to them. They want to give it to them. Like they don't want to earn it. Right. Like again, it's like people in our era, like you took a spot. It wasn't given to you. Like you ain't just show up and you had no spot. No, you had to earn that joint. And then that's what, again, I go back to telling Taz, like that my senior year, senior year, we didn't have no start. Well, of course, Turk started. You had 2 or 3 people that started. We didn't have no starting 5.
Mm-hmm.
It was whoever bust ass in practice, they played. So it wasn't no starting 5. Of course, like the junior year, Turk wasn't coming off the floor. So 4 people had a chance to play every game.
And that's funny as I don't know what, man, because like you said, Henry, a lot of people a lot of coaches used to tell you, you earn your time in practice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You cannot be a kid that get a lot of time at some point in time, but then you kept working, and then you earn some time in practice. Because the
There you
coach
go.
ain't going to trust you just because he's going to throw you in the game.
No.
He got to see that work ethic. He got to see you producing. He got to see you being able to be efficient in practice.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of crazy. Like now, like you said, kids will feel like don't do.
You mute, Mike.
Yeah, I think he muted himself.
My fault. But at the end of the day, you know, kids will feel like, man, this coach didn't put me in the game, or this guy didn't do this for me, or this guy didn't do that. But at the same exact time, you go in practice, you may turn over the ball 10 times in practice, or you may shoot air balls and stuff like that. A coach is not going to trust you in certain parts of the game. He may throw you in the game for 2 minutes. If you don't look like you're supposed to, they're gonna take you out the game.
Oh, quick, fast, and hurry.
Quick, fast, and a hurry. But kids don't understand that now. Kids feel like at the end of the day, hey man, I'm supposed to be playing. But you know, I'm gonna say what Duty Squirrel used to tell us, and he told me before he passed. He said he really believed that when money became an issue of you know, charging people to play basketball, that's when you lost the fact of being able to really coach a team, because
Yep.
every parent feel like, yo, I gave you $300 for my kid to be on this team.
Absolutely.
Why
Absolutely.
not playing?
Yep. And
You see what I'm saying?
that's a very good point, Mike, because I'm telling you, man, there are kids that really can't play, but the parents want the kids to play because they're spending all this money.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I mean,
that's
and
coach I
let
had
me go
balls.
back even further, right? Like when I came up, because you guys are way younger than me. When I came up, right, they only had one AAU team, right?
What did I tell you? I'm gonna cut you off real quick. I just told Taz that. Taz, what did I just tell you?
Yeah.
The other day. I told Taz that. You only had one A. Go ahead. You can finish.
Yeah, you had one AAU team, right? So you had, you know, and we used to practice up at Loyola, right? And you had the Pete Buckles, the Tony Guys, you had myself, you had Lance Hill, you had Mark Valdez from Cardinal Gibbons. You know, you had a whole list of people, at least 20, 25 people. They only gonna carry 10.
I just
right?
told him. Just told
They
him
only
that.
gonna carry 10, right? And so if you're not good enough to make that team, then you might have to play a summer league team, which is not
Right.
AAU.
Mhm.
And we traveled to Fort Worth, Texas, right? And all the expense was paid for. So we were good enough for everybody to play. But now you got all these AAU teams all over the city, right? They're paying $300, $400, $500, and everybody wants to play. But that's not the case, because ain't everybody's going to play. But then the parent gets pissed off that her son not playing. If he gets a minute, she's pissed off. Well, he's pissed off, right? But I think for the most part is that no matter how much the coach tell you or have a meeting with the parents about this, that, and the other, he's still gonna hear the same thing over and over. My son ain't playing. Why my son not playing? I paid you $300.
Now,
You know what I mean?
now let me say this, because it's two programs, and that's Thrill and Team Mellow, that 9 times out of 10 they can get the cream of the crop, right? But we have other programs. Now, some of the parents feel as though that they child can't get to the next level unless they go to these two programs. Now, can you tell the people how false that is? How false that right there is? Because you have kids.
I don't have nothing to say, Tad.
Look, right. If Mike talk, they gonna think Mike is being salty. But Mike, you have to talk, Mike. You have to.
No, I'm keeping quiet, Taz. You go ahead. I'm listening.
No, go ahead, Mike.
You know what I'm saying? You got it's and I understand.
It's just funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna say it's not a thrill thing, a mellow thing, because all them guys, you know, I either came up with them guys, I either came behind them, and all them guys are good guys, right? And my thing is this: what we do is we go around and we tell kids that you can't go to school without being on the street. But every kid can't. Every kid is not going to be a D1 prospect, right? So imagine if we have a kid and we put him on the Nike circuit, and I understand the Nike circuit because I played on it. So at the end of the day, the Nike circuit is a monster. So if you're not ready for the Nike circuit and your team is losing, and once again, and say this again, and hey, when I under recruited, right now at this point in time, you have no schools. You get what I'm saying? If you have no schools and you go on the circuit and you on the Nike circuit, but you do not win, meaning your team is winning or your team is producing, which you are a part of that. What happens is you still an under-recruited kid at the end. That's just a fact. Unless you just got a guy that can really push you to a lot of coaches. He say, man, you know what? You're an under-recruited kid. You played well this year. Nobody's giving you a shot. I'm gonna pick up the phone and I'm gonna call some coaches and they may pull the trigger. You see what I'm saying? But you gotta have that. You gotta have that. If you don't have that and your AAU team is losing on that circuit, no college coach is looking at and looking and saying, man, I like that kid right there. Because he's looking at the teams that they're looking at the teams that was winning. And that goes back to saying what Hank said earlier when we talked about having that mindset of being under recruited and then going out and winning and busting ass. That right there made college coaches turn and look, and made recruiters turn and look and say, yo, who's that kid right there? So like I keep saying, Taz, and I give you the same analogy again. I give you the analogy every time we talk. I say, yo, I tell kids that basketball is like the rap game, right? So you pick out your favorite rap group. And I always use the Migos for these kids. I say, y'all like the Migos, right? I said, so when the Migos put out some songs, in the beginning, a lot of people didn't catch on to the Migos. But when they hit with Bad and Bougie, right? Everybody liked the song. Then people start picking out who had the best flow on the Migos. That's basketball for you. Because a college coach some recruiters may come and they look at the AAU team and you win it. Now they say, look at that little point guard right there. Look how he run his show. Look how he get everybody involved. Look at that shooter right there. Look how he knocked down them open jump shots. Look at the big kid. He rebound the mess out the ball. Then they start picking out your individual talent. But in the beginning, you under-recruited, your team got to win, bro. They got to win. But I think that mindset of kids understanding that, a lot of kids don't understand that. If you listen to the stuff that's said by kids about on the circuit, not just on the Nike circuit, not just the Under Armour, not Adidas or anything else, just playing AAU basketball, period. Their mindset is, if I go out here and get buckets, a college coach going to turn and say, ooh. Yeah, it may be a college coach to say, ooh, it's going to be that little, small, tiny school that's going to still make you pay. But the whole object is to go to school for free.
Absolutely.
So that was my point with the under-recruited thing. And that's what, like, I just feel like that so many times that, like, that kids' expectations are a lot bigger than reality.
Your expectations can't be big when you ain't got no schools.
No, when all right. No, it can be, Mike. And the reason why I say that is because like a kid will think that they are high major Division I guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they'll overlook, just to say HBCU or NAIA. They'll overlook them because they feel like they are Maryland or Duke or whatever kid. You get what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. It's like so many people could have went to college if they'd have looked at an NAIA. And
But they don't want to do that. They didn't want to do that.
On a high major.
But we gotta blame our city too, because when like you said, we had coaches that was really they gave you the harsh reality in our time. They would tell you, man, listen, stop smelling your own shit. You ain't like that. Stop reading your news clippings. You know how that conversation used to go. Stop reading your news clippings.
Hey, Mike, I think that comes to parenting too.
Right.
All that.
Right.
And I use my own experience with that. So like with me, with my oldest son, he did a year at Crystal Ray. I already know you go to that conference, you can break every fucking record in the conference. That's what I tell him. But at this point, it was more so about the school, the 100% of kids get accepted to college, this, that, and the third. Crystal Ray. So Crystal Ray. Actually, he picked Crystal Ray. He got there. It's too strict for him. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, Dad, I want to transfer. I'm motherfucker. Like I tell him, you are not going to Dunbar. That's what I tell him. You're not going to Dunbar. But then I asked him, what school did he want to go to? What school did he say? Dunbar. So I said to him, I said, bro, everything is earned, ain't nothing given. You're probably going to play JV. This is what I'm telling him. You're probably going to play JV because now he's going to sophomore year. So you're probably going to play JV, whatever. I don't know if you're going to get no time. I'm being real with him. I don't know what the case is going to be. But if you want to go there, you can go there. He ended up going there and starting varsity. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, he ended up going there and starting varsity. Like, he didn't start immediately, worked his way in, and he ended up being a 3-year starter. But the whole thing about it is, bro, nothing given, everything is earned.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, you know, like, and you're right, because I look back at it on my career, right? Now, I had a bunch of HBCU schools recruiting me, right? But I felt within myself that I wanted to be a Division I ball player. I wanted to be on TV.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, huh?
A lot of HBCUs are Division I.
No, back then they wasn't.
Okay, all right, okay.
I'm talking back in my era.
Okay,
right?
Gotcha.
And we're talking about, you know, even Morgan and Coppin and Towson, right?
Gotcha.
So I wanted to go to a school. In fact, my brother went to Missouri, and Missouri was recruiting me. I was gonna go there, but he said no. I needed my own identity, so I chose Pitt. Pitt was a football school. Anybody heard of Dan Marino, Tony Dorsett, all them guys, right?
Yeah.
So we were considered at the time a mid-major.
Okay.
Right, whatever that was, but it was a D1 school, but it was a mid-major.
Yeah.
So after we won the East Snake back-to-back, we became a high caliber Division I school.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So that was my dream, is to play on TV, and I fulfilled that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. But every kid, like y'all said, every kid is not a D1 player. You know, it's got to be a reality check, and that comes from the coaches and the parents. Sure. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because they have to understand it's a reality check. Okay, if you go to an HBCU school now, you're still getting a good education. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the ultimate goal is that even everybody wants to make the NBA, right? Everybody wants to go overseas, but if it's not in your cards, at least you got something to back it up on. You have a 4-year degree that you can come back to Baltimore, wherever you at, and get a job, a good paying job. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what gotta be preached into these kids, and that's where reality gotta come in. And like, you gotta understand, like, as a parent, as a coach, as a friend, you have to be realistic with these kids and let them know you're not putting in the work to get that 56 or 58, however many for the league. There's only 58 motherfuckers that's gonna make it to the NBA each year. So like you just gotta be realistic with the kid. Like everybody think because they put the ball on the floor, they put the ball in the hoop, they go into the league. Like it don't happen like that.
No.
You said, I mean, you said 58?
It's something like, well, and it's what is well, maybe 30, 60. It's 60 now, I think.
Well, I think it's like this, right? You may have about first or second round, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about combined. It's 60.
Right. But you gotta look at it this way, right? Only the first 7 to 8 is gonna make it. Everybody else is gonna play in the D League. If you really look at it. Now, when I came out, I think it was like 13 or 17 rounds.
Jeez.
See how they
No,
shrunk
we're
it
talking
down
about
to 2?
basketball. It's 2 rounds. So the first round is gonna play.
I'm talking
No,
about
when it
I'm talking
started.
about when I played. There
Oh,
were
okay.
13 to 17 rounds.
Oh, okay. All right.
But now they shrunk it down to 2. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so if you're not in the top 10, right, you'll probably get a 2-way contract or whatever the case may be, or try as a free agent, or maybe go overseas and play for a while. You know what I'm saying? And I always tell people, like I have a nephew now who's playing overseas right now. He played, as a matter of fact, he played at Dunbar too in 2011. And I tell him, I said, you know what? Make as much money as you can overseas because they're gonna give you the money.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can make, there's a lot of kids that go overseas that make $1 million. You know?
Well, we got to shout out Melton Delaney on that tip.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know? I mean, he played what, a year in the NBA or 2 years in the NBA?
2 years.
Right. I mean, and he's still balling. You know what I mean? So
well, he
I mean,
NBA money over there. He get NBA money over there. So
absolutely, man. And that's the thing, man. And so a lot of kids wants to play in the NBA. I get that. You know what I'm saying? But you can make just as much money overseas.
Facts.
And play for 15, 16, 17 years.
Absolutely.
Now, people, we about to cut it short. If we want, I'm gonna go around and y'all got y'all last statements because we at the limit now. You know what I mean? We can come back. We can come back on Thursday if y'all want to. It's up to y'all. And I will come up with some different topics. We don't gotta stay here either. We don't gotta stay here because I don't want nobody to think that we bitter old men and we hate this, that, the third. No, we just want a better Baltimore. And we would just want our kids to just be great. That's about it. I ain't gonna put a whole lot to it. So if any of y'all got anything to say, y'all go ahead and drop it for the people. If anything y'all want the people to know, tell the people and the people can follow y'all also on Facebook and Instagram.
I got one thing I want to say before we get up out of here. Baltimore needs to give Kevin Norris a Baltimore 5-star kid. Kevin Norris do too much for Baltimore kids for him not to have a 4 or 5-star Baltimore kid.
I also, I'm gonna say this too though, Hank. It's trust. Like
no, Mike, can I cut you off for 1
crazy.
second? Mike, can I cut you off for 1 second though?
Uh-huh.
I don't feel like it's trust. The reason why I say that is because they will trust Kevin Norris with the whole process until it's time for them to get their kid.
Right.
So it's not trust.
Right.
They trust him with the whole process until it's time for him to get their kid.
To come and recruit their kid.
Yeah, I mean, not recruit him, for him to get them. This is what you gotta look at, Mike. This is what you gotta look at. At Florida Gulf Coast, they won. He didn't get a kid.
Yep.
Right? We talking about universities. He goes to USC, one of the biggest, best universities in the nation.
He didn't get a kid.
He didn't get a kid. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now he's still winning down in a lovely town of Orlando and can't get a kid from Baltimore. But
Why's that?
that's what we want to know. But this is what I'm saying to you, that they will seek his advice on the game of basketball in their kid, but won't give him their kid.
Well, that has a lot to do with the coaches here. You know?
But at that point, I feel like it's the parents.
Well, the parents and the coaching.
Yeah.
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 You know what I'm saying? Because they intertwine, because it makes no sense for guys who are coaching on a high level not getting a kid from Baltimore. It makes no sense. You know?
And I mean, when I say it is a little sore situation, because this guy ride or die for Baltimore kids. Even though he don't get them, he still go hard for them.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he definitely go hard for him. He definitely big them up. He will push them kids. He would talk them kids up. And I mean, I don't know. I just think that I feel like in all, I think we have to stick together as a city tighter, because when it comes down to on the next level, you look at it, a lot of kids be going to certain programs because they got a tie to a guy that's their father got a tie. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
Or whatever the case may be. And that happens a lot. Even it be a 5-star recruit, but they don't go to the biggest school. They wind up going to a school where as though their father got a tie, they close with this coach, or whatever the case may be. We ain't gonna sit here and say that Stink ain't close with them. And Stink, everybody loves Stink. You see what I'm saying? So, like you said, there's no way he ain't getting the kid.
But again, I'm gonna let somebody else speak. But my thing is this, man. He hasn't gotten one. Not one.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
So
That means that we have to do better as a whole.
Yeah.
I agree with you 1,000%. I agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah,
like,
because
even if he
here's
got
my
a
thing.
3-star kid, he didn't even get a 3-star kid yet. He hasn't gotten one Baltimore kid, bro.
Well, let me ask y'all a question, right? So we all know Stink, right? You know,
yeah.
And we know Bino, right?
Right.
So if Stink comes us and say, hey, look, hot dog, I want that kid right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do everything I can in my power to try to help him with that kid. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's ultimately it's gonna be up to the parent and the coaching that's who probably got connection with, say, for instance, Georgetown. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that makes a big difference. I understand what you guys are saying, right? But we have to do better as a whole.
So we also gotta look at it like this though. As coaches, right? Sometimes when we have these kids that's really, really good, every kid ain't gonna go right into programs to start.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So sometimes we push kids to go to programs that we got to be honest with the kid and look and be like, yo, think about I know you like this program, but at the same time, why would you got to think twice about what you really want to do? Do you want to be a starter? Do you don't mind coming off the bench? Or you just going to this high D1 school because it's a high D1 school? You get what I'm saying?
I think that's what's happening though. I honestly feel like that. I think
yeah.
I feel like that. And then, and especially with the turning of the times right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, we got guys on here, correct me if I'm wrong, right? I feel like at this point right now, a kid can go to any school and get to where they need to get.
I feel the same way.
Wow. Hey, bro.
I feel the same way.
I was saying the same thing to Taz not too long ago. I was like, Taz, these kids now, they can go to
a Morgan or a Coppin.
They can go to a Central Florida, average about 17, 18. Central Florida win their conference. They gonna get a shot at the NBA.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
So, right.
And I tell people this all the time. I say, I went to GW. I averaged about 15, 16 as a sophomore. But if I would have had that 15, 16 in the Big East, I'm a shoe-in. I'm top 10. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to think about it. You getting 15, 16 points in the Big East, and your numbers are good. You know what I'm saying? So now kids can go to Central Florida. They can go to small schools and win at their small school and also get into the tournament and play well. Because a lot of times with the kid is you may play at a bigger school and never have a chance to really showcase yourself, right? But then you'll go to a smaller school like a Central Florida, and you'll have a chance to being able to average 17 points a game. But that's going to be all on you and your work ethic. You see what I'm saying? So now the question is, where do you want to take your game? Do you want to have the opportunity? I mean, because kids, I understand what kids are looking at. They're saying if I go to Duke, I ain't got to average 17. I can average that going 10 and still get that same shot. But you got but when you average 10 at Duke, you got to have some breakout games where as though somebody can see the flashes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you ain't gonna just go averaging 10 like that. But go ahead.
No, we just got 2 more minutes. Go ahead. We just go until it go off. Come on, we good.
So again, that still comes into what I say, like, is about expectations, right? Because let's just take, for instance, and I mean, all us know somebody that did it, right? So you go to a high major Division I program, right? You don't go pro and you don't get a degree. You've been better off going to a HBCU.
Yeah.
And getting your degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I definitely agree.
probably would have broke the records.
Man, look, I ain't telling my story yet, but that's me. Went to prep school, got 920 on my SAT. The grades fine, got all that. However, Wagner was there. Give me a couple of, they looked out for me. Wittenberg just got the job. Boom. Now we starting the season in prep school. I never started at 3 my whole career, except for AAU, certain tournaments on a Baltimore select team, right? So now I get a chance to really play my position in prep. Not only did I go from a low Division I, my shit jumped, it skyrocketed to the point that now I got the big schools coming. You know what I'm saying? Won a national, the prep school national championship and everything. Like, so now I'm looking at it like, oh, if you gonna put me on a 3, like this is my first year playing the position, and I excel. No, I'm not going to Wagner. And by me reneging on Wagner, that started a whole other some other. Y'all gonna listen. I'm gonna tell y'all my story, but that right there, people. If I'd me paying attention now, if I'd have went to Wagner, I'd have cooked that. You know what I'm saying? I'd have did that, I'd have got my education. Instead of going to this school, that school, then you losing focus of the game. And then after a while, I ain't even want to touch the game. I ain't even want to touch the ball. I'm telling you, when I finished, I ain't touched a basketball for 5 years. And I ain't care about basketball. You know what I'm saying? Only reason why I jumped back into it, my oldest son started playing. So it was like, all right, I hate this game that hurt me, even though that caused my own hurt. But I gotta like I tell my son, I apologize to him. I say, I feel as though I ain't give you all what I should have gave you because I'm telling you all the bullshit about the game instead of just, you know what, this is what's going on, let me push you this way. You know what I'm saying? Because listen here, people, when the shit ends the way you don't want it to end, oh yeah, it plays with you. It plays with you, man. It plays with you. But coming back, we'll get back to this though. Hopefully, we'll have everybody come back on Thursday. If not, and y'all, I'm gonna bug them so we can get them again. And people, I appreciate it. I'm humble for y'all even coming on the panel again. And like I said, thank y'all again, and we out.
Peace.